Hello everyone, today we'll talk about the problem find common characters. We're given a list of words and we have to return a list of characters that appear in all the words, including duplicates. So for instance, if the character A appears in every word at least twice, in one of those words appears twice, maybe in the second word appears 3 times and so on, we have to include it twice in the answer. And if character B does not appear in one of the words, then it doesn't appear in the answer, even if it appears in other words. So even stating the problem already gives us the solution. We have to count for every character how many times it appears in every word, take the minimum of those numbers, and that is the number of times it will appear in our answer. The rest is just implementation. Of course, you can keep the count of characters in a normal array and either offset them by the ASCII value of A, so then you have only 26 elements in your array. I in general tend to just declare, let's say, a 200 element array and then index A on ASCII value A, B on ASCII value B, and so on. So you can use an array to count the number of occurrences. You can use a dictionary, so that would be probably the most natural way to do it. In general, I tend to use default dict of ints instead of counters. However, in this case, because of course you can use the counter class, but in this case the counter class really shines. So here is, let's say, a basic implementation that just does everything by hand. However, if we have a counter, which is a specialized class to count the number of occurrences of an element, so it's essentially a multiset from C++, though I think it's implemented in a more reasonable way, since typically when you want to use a multiset in C++, you should use a map from int to int, or from your type to int, and a multiset would probably be only used if you have elements that are different from each other, but they are indistinguishable to your set, because it's a set that allows duplicates. But here it is implemented, I think, as a simple dictionary from the element to the number of occurrences. However, what it gives us over a normal dictionary is that bitwise operations, and in general arithmetic operations, are more sensible, are in line with the idea that this counts the number of occurrences. So for instance, the AND element, the AND operator, so the ampersand, or operator AND, is something that will give in general an intersection of two sets. And so here we have an intersection of two multisets. This is exactly what we want to do, because intersecting the two counters, which count the number of occurrences of every letter in two different words, will give us exactly the count, the minimum of the counts for every letter. So we just have to first create a counter that counts all the letters in all the words, but just creating the counter and giving the string during creation will give already the counter that we want. So we just have to map the constructor, the name of the class, over all the words. Then we have to reduce it by using this bitwise AND operator, which is the intersection, and thus what reduce will return will be a counter that has for every letter the minimum of the number of occurrences. And then, as a cherry on top, we can use elements to get a list of all the elements with the number of times that they appear being duplicated in that list. So that's exactly what we want. So this is really a very nice way to showcase what counter is capable of instead of default dict. I'll probably in general still use default dict of ints, but yeah, counter exists, and in this case it's really useful.